fair to say that Chronicles of Crime sort of revolutionised what could be done and what could be thought of in terms of apps and board games. However, there's still a lot of people who don't like to have apps with board games. Lucky Duck Games have brought to us these Crime Zoom games, which are potentially a way for people who don't like apps integrated into their games to experience a sort of Chronicles of Crime style game. In the game, which I'm not going to be able to show you much footage of because I just don't want to ruin it for you. There is a main scene that you're set out straight away, but again, it's kind of like fun putting that together and seeing what you deal with. But essentially, you'll start the game with a main scene laid out on the table, and this will be from 15 to 9 cards in the 2 examples we have here, which are His Last Card and Bird of Ill Omen. Any card you want to look at more closely, you flip over at the cost of potential points at the end of the game, but I wouldn't worry too much about that, if I'm honest. And it will direct you to another card if it's a good lead, or it might just give you some information and not direct you to a card. Ultimately, you need to be directed through the deck of cards, which are numbered, which might be an interview, it might be a recording, there might be a fingerprint on it, there might be a sound wave kind of recording of their voice. All this kind of thing, more stories, more people to interview, and I have to say at this point, it's worth just having a pad and paper. Everything you need will be in front of you on the table, but each time I've played, I've just used an A5 pad and 1 sheet of paper, and it's just helped me organise my thoughts. In terms of scoring, all you're looking to do is solve the crime, and there's some questions at the back of the rule book, which if you answer correctly by referencing the right card number and that sort of thing, then you get points. The points aren't really the point of this. If you manage to do it without going through the deck, then that gives you more points potentially. For every 5 cards you have left, you get another point. I did not have any cards left. The first one I did, which was His Last Card, and that was fine. I kind of knew the story, I kind of had worked it out, and I think I would have got full marks from the questionnaire, which again is a bit like how Chronicles of Crime does it, but I wanted to be absolutely sure I wasn't just making up a mad story. So I exhausted the deck on that one, but I still got everything right, so that kind of felt good. I've done both of these solo. I will talk about that in a minute. It does take up quite a bit of the table. This one least so. You need a good sized table if you're doing it solo. Well, however you're doing it. Not a full size table, but you know, bigger than a little school desk thing. Bird of Ill Omen actually managed to work out before the end of the deck, so I was quite pleased with myself there. Hadn't flipped over all the scene cards, and I still had some cards left in the deck. Now, just like Chronicles of Crime, there is different routes of finding out information. You can access things from different angles, and just like Chronicles of Crime, the games are going to suffer from replayability. But this is just a deck of cards. It's even cheaper than Chronicles of Crime. You can buy it, pass it around your group. It's easy to reset. There's no destruction of the stuff. You could even give this to non-gamers to do as a little mystery. I think a lot of people will enjoy this deck of cards. It's really simple to play, really easy. There are some rules, but seasoned gamers won't need them, and new gamers would just need to glance at them once, and then you just need it for the solution. So the replayability, yes, is the same as an exit room, except it's exit the room or unlock, except this is you just put the card deck back in order and then it's reset, so that's great. In terms of my preferred one, I enjoyed both. His Last Card was less expansive than this one in terms of Bird of Ill Omen. It felt like you looked at a lot more scenes. There were perhaps more ways of going about things. Yeah, what I really like is they don't treat you like they don't do things for you. So in Chronicles of Crime, again to use the example because it's the closest thing I can think of that I've played, or the Undo games as well. in that, if you get a fingerprint, it will generally tell you whose it is. In this, it will tell you whose the fingerprint is if you get it analysed, but say you find a fingerprint somewhere else, it's your job to look at the two fingerprints and work out if they're a match, and that's kind of neat. You have to kind of, anything you get like that, footprints, fingerprints, you have to match up yourself. I find them very good at not being obtuse. Sometimes these games are obtuse, and I much prefer them to Undo. The Undo games I would not touch with a barge pole. I hated my experience of Undo. It was random, it was boring. This one, there is luck and there is randomness. You turn over the right combination of cards at the start, then you're going to get down the best route. However, kind of knowing which cards to turn over is a thing in itself. So yeah, I'm really taken with these crime zooms. If you're just going to do one to try, I mean, you can't go wrong with either of them, but my favourite was Bird of Ill Omen. I think it was just slightly more enjoyable than his last card. But I look forward to more of these. They're portable, they're things I can do with my family or give to my family. They can just be passed around, and you don't need an app. So for those people who are looking for that Chronicles of Crime experience without an app and don't want to get mix apps with board games, which some people don't, then this is an excellent alternative. Thanks very much for watching. If you do like what we do, like the video, maybe subscribe, maybe go make yourself a nice cup of tea, put your feet up and treat yourself. See you next time.